Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're uncovering a hidden data network that's probably operating right inside your daily commute. I mean, your car might look like just a regular vehicle, but the truth is, a modern car transforms an ordinary drive into this glowing, continuous stream of digital information. By the time we wrap up this explainer, you're going to understand exactly what your car can record, how that data escapes the vehicle, who receives it, and, most importantly, how you can take back control of it. Let's get into it. Think about your morning routine for just a second. You get into your car, you shut the door, buckle your seatbelt. It feels like a completely private room on wheels, right? It's just you, your coffee, and the open road. Now, we all know our smartphones are tracking our steps and locations, sure. But far fewer of us actually stop to wonder, wait, is the car itself recording me? When you hit the brakes, when you accelerate, where you start your trip, where you end it? Are you truly the only one in the vehicle? Or is your private commute actually a broadcast? Well, that brings us to section 1, not just a black box. Okay, so let's dive into this. For years, the common assumption has been pretty simple. Whatever happens in the car, stays in the car. Most people think their vehicle only stores basic mechanical stuff or, maybe the Bluetooth connection to their phone. But guys, the car is no longer just a machine. It is literally a computer network on wheels. And the biggest misconception we need to shatter right now is this myth of a single, all-knowing black box. To understand what's really happening, we have to contrast two completely different technologies. On one side, we have the event data recorder. Now, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, this is your traditional black box. It really only activates during a crash event to help rescue workers or investigators. It's essentially dormant during your normal everyday drive. But on the other side, we have connected telematics. This is a built-in cellular connection that acts like a continuous everyday link to the cloud. It doesn't wait for a crash. It is operating the whole time you're just driving down to the grocery store. So think of your car almost like a school with 4 completely different notebooks. Asking if your car has a tracking device is actually the wrong question because it really has 4 separate data systems. Notebook 1 is that event data recorder for crashes. Notebook 2 is your connected car telematics, handling stuff like remote start or diagnostics. Notebook 3 is your infotainment system, which is pulling in your phone contacts and your destinations. And Notebook 4? Well, that might be an optional insurance telematics app tracking your driving score. These notebooks do not follow the same rules, and they definitely don't share the same privacy settings. Which leads us perfectly into section 2, the 3 data doors. So, as we've established, the car contains a massive amount of information. But just because a sensor creates data doesn't automatically mean a company receives it. To understand how this information actually escapes into the world, we need to look at what I like to call the 3 data doors. Let's walk through them. Door 1 is where data is created inside the vehicle. Your car literally needs to measure wheel speed, braking, and steering just to function properly. That's totally normal. Door 2 is where the tension starts to build. This is when the data is sent through the cloud via telematics to give you conveniences, like unlocking your car from your phone or getting turn-by-turn navigation. But door 3? That is where the real privacy questions open up. This is when the data that reached the cloud is shared or used for a completely different purpose by third parties. And this brings us to a really critical concept called purpose drift. Imagine you visit a lemonade stand and they give you a rewards card to count your drinks. That's useful, right? You get a free drink eventually. But what if that stand secretly sends your drink count to your health insurance company and they use it to raise your premium because you're consuming way too much sugar? The surprising part here isn't that the stand counted your drinks. It's that data intended for your own personal convenience was unexpectedly weaponized against your wallet. That is purpose drift, and it is absolutely happening on our roads right now. Moving on to section 3, your data, their decisions. To see exactly how high the stakes can get here, we don't even have to guess or use hypotheticals. We can look at a very real, well-documented case study involving one of the largest automakers in the world, which perfectly highlights this journey from an innocent drive to a financial decision. In January of 2026, the Federal Trade Commission finalized an order settling allegations against General Motors and its OnStar service. Now, to be completely impartial here, we are just analyzing regulatory allegations that were settled under a final order. We are not demonizing automakers. A lot of these connected features are incredibly helpful. But the FTC alleged that GM and OnStar collected, used, and sold precise location and driving behavior data without adequately notifying consumers or getting their affirmative consent. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact mechanism of purpose drift. The FTC complaint alleged that the Smart Driver feature, which, by the way, consumers thought was just a neat tool to review their own driving habits, was actually gathering data points like hard braking, hard acceleration, seatbelt use, and precise locations. The alleged consequence of all this?
That information was provided to consumer reporting agencies, where it showed up in reports that insurance companies could then use to make coverage or pricing decisions about those exact drivers.
Just look at the timeline of how this actually unfolds. It is wild. In a millisecond, you press the brake pedal hard to avoid a pothole. In a second, a sensor records that physical action. Within a minute, your car's telematics system sends that data point up to the cloud. And within days, that tiny split-second action can become a permanent line item on an insurance report. It's this stunning relay race where a simple physical movement on the road transforms into a permanent financial input.
But here is the crucial flaw in all of this. Data can be incredibly precise without being complete. A tracking system might know the exact millisecond you slammed on the brakes, the exact force you used, and your exact location on the map. But it completely misses the why. It doesn't know that a child chased a ball into the street or that another car dangerously cut you off. A perfectly safe defensive reaction by a genuinely good driver can look like a risky, aggressive data point to an algorithm that totally lacks human context.
All right, Section 4, taking back your data.
Okay, take a deep breath. I know that's a lot. We've talked about the hidden mechanisms and the potential risks, but now it is time for the payoff. You are not powerless in this digital relay race. The car is not secretly doing one universal thing that you can't control. It operates on permissions. So let's shift gears and look at how you can actually take your data back. I want to give you a really powerful mental framework. Instead of just vaguely asking, hey, is my smart device tracking me? Use this 4-question privacy test for your car and frankly for any smart device you own. 1. What exactly is being collected? 2. Does that data actually leave the vehicle? 3. Who receives it once it's in the cloud? And 4. Can I access, control, or delete it? If you can't easily answer those 4 questions, the consent you gave probably wasn't meaningful.
Let's put that into action with a rapid-fire 5-minute check for your vehicle. First, open up your manufacturer's mobile app and audit your data sharing and smart driving score preferences. Turn off what you don't need. Second, literally sit in your car and dig into the infotainment screen to review your location sharing and synced contacts. Third, if you use a safe driving app for your insurance, explicitly check the fine print to see if it can raise your rates as well as lower them. And finally, if you ever sell your car, for sure hit factory reset on the dashboard. But remember this one key thing. A dashboard reset often does not cancel the hidden cloud subscriptions tied to your vehicle. You literally have to log in online to sever that link.
And finally, Section 5. The rental car trap.
Okay, so there is this little trapdoor that almost everyone falls through when traveling. Lean in for this one, because this is a bonus insight that rarely gets talked about, and it involves cars you don't even own. The FTC advises consumers to, and I quote, avoid unnecessary phone pairing in rental cars and clear personal information before returning the vehicle. Think about the sheer irony here. We will fiercely protect the privacy settings in our own vehicles, but the second we rent a car for a weekend getaway, we just plug our phone right in. Without even thinking, we hit accept and casually copy our entire digital life, our contacts, our text messages, our call logs, our GPS destinations straight into a rental car's memory. And it just sits there waiting for the next stranger to turn on the engine. If you absolutely must connect for music, use a generic Bluetooth audio link, not a full data sync. Trust me on that one. So we've seen how the car you drive can act as a hidden data network, quietly tracking behavior and sharing it in ways you might never, ever expect. But your vehicle is only one piece of the puzzle. What if the device sitting in your pocket right now is judging your driving speed, tracking your hard stops, and calculating a risk score, even when you were just sitting in the passenger seat of someone else's car? Can your phone actually change your car insurance rate? That is a fascinating question, and we are going to have to explore it next time. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.
Thanks for staying to the end. If this helped, we'd really appreciate a like. It helps us make more videos like this for you. Want to stay ahead? Get Market Lens by CXProWealth, AI-powered insights delivered to your inbox to help protect and grow your money. Don't miss out.